Let me, on behalf of the newly designated mayor of the city and county of San Francisco, welcome each and every one of you to the Charlotte Maillard Schultz steps for the purpose of this very important and significant ceremony. It was just about 5 minutes ago that David Chu ceased to be the mayor. The acting mayor of San Francisco for about 27 hours was David Chu, the president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. We thank you for your service. Next to David Chu is the senior member of the Board of Supervisors, not so much in terms of age, but in terms of service, and the man who nominated the gentleman who is about to be sworn in as the mayor of this city, Sean Ellsworth. And then, not necessarily in alphabetical order, but as close as I can get to alphabetical order, Supervisor John Avalos, Supervisor David Campos, Supervisor Carmen Chu, Supervisor Malia Cohen, Supervisor Ross Macarimi, Supervisor Mark Farrell, Supervisor Jane Kim, and Supervisor Scott Wiener. On this occasion, Mr. Lee, a number of your friends thought it appropriate to reach out to cover the span of mayors for the last 50 years in this great city, a small fraternity which you are about to join. And leading that, and the most recent member of that club is, of course, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of California, who in just a minute will bring some remarks. It was the man who served as a supervisor here in the city and county of San Francisco, and whom the voters rewarded just richly with making him the Lieutenant Governor of the state of California. And he was received yesterday by his colleagues in Sacramento at 1 minute after 1 when his tenure in City Hall, he was evicted. And in the process, he gave a sterling accounting of himself for the time that he's been mayor. And now to say goodbye to each and every one of you and welcome to the new mayor, the man who is the Lieutenant Governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you all. Sit down, everybody, those that have seats. Let me welcome and thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here. I didn't think I'd come back down from Sacramento so quickly, but it's good to be here, and it's a wonderful occasion. And I guess the people that need to be thanked the most are the people of the state of California, because had it not been for them, I wouldn't be Lieutenant Governor, and as a consequence, there wouldn't have been a vacancy for mayor of the city and county of San Francisco. So on behalf of the people of San Francisco and this state, I'm honored that the people have taken it upon themselves to allow for this opportunity and to celebrate this remarkable milestone in the history, not only of our city, but this state, and I would argue our nation. It's a remarkable thing what's about to happen and what candidly just happened upstairs, but what we're celebrating here at this moment. You know, it was not that many months ago we stood here on the steps of City Hall recounting the very shameful past of our city in the context of our relationships with the Chinese community and the Chinese Exclusion Act, and some of the history that really has tarnished what makes San Francisco today such a special and extraordinary place. And here we are just a few months after that reflection celebrating the first Chinese-American mayor in our great city. It's a remarkable thing and a very proud thing. It is appropriate, and I spoke a little bit about this yesterday up in the Capitol, but it's appropriate at these moments to remind everyone this city is the birthplace of the United Nations. This is a city that has always been other people oriented. This is a city of remarkable diversity, and it's a city that is truly prideful of that diversity. And at our best, we don't just tolerate it, we celebrate it. And we unite around those things, again, that bind us together. And I think really that's the spirit of our times. It's the spirit of what makes San Francisco indeed a special place in the hearts and minds of people, not only across the state, around the country, for that matter, around the world. Mayor Lee, here's my advice. You got a year. So figure out what it is you want to accomplish and work back from there. You were put in this position by the people to my right, but the people of San Francisco are the people that are counting on you. And that's do what you think is right. And remember, just because folks make their way to City Hall, as important and impressive as that is, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that do not have that privilege, that also require your attention and also require your leadership. Always remember that. The people outside this building are the people that we also need to represent. Remember that just because you disagree with folks on the other side doesn't mean something's going wrong. In fact, that's part of the deliberative process. That healthy controversy is the hallmark of healthy change. And that you're going to have a difficult time with a budget. You're going to have a difficult time processing a new police chief. You're going to have a challenging time dealing with the realities that are taking shape in Sacramento and how they manifest here in our county. But always remember to stand on principle, to do what you think is right. People like me, as I am reminded, notably, come and go. You're given a moment in time. The thing that matters most are the things you do. They transcend that moment in time. And final words, there is no having made it as mayor of San Francisco. Success as mayor is not a place, it's not a definition, it's a direction. And I encourage you to keep this city moving in a right direction. And I look forward to your leadership, your stewardship, and I look forward to you continuing the extraordinary work you have done as our city administrator, a person of integrity, competency, a person that has always been other people oriented, someone that seeks advice and counsel, has a good, strong sense of purpose, and will be an outstanding leader in our city. I could not be more proud, and thank you to the Board of Supervisors, more pleased with their choice for our next mayor of the city and county of San Francisco. Thank you all very much.
As I indicated, the mayors for the last 40, 50, or 60 years in San Francisco are represented here. The mayor who comes from the furthest distance, and the Shelley family, and Kevin Shelley is somewhere here representing the Shelley clan. After Shelley, there was Joseph L. Alioto, and Mrs. Alioto is here. After Joseph Alioto, there was George Moscone, and Chris Moscone is here representing George Moscone. And after the Moscone years, it was Dianne Feinstein, and her husband Richard Blum is here. They actually got married in the chambers upstairs. Now, in just a minute, the president of the Board of Supervisors is going to say the words that will allow you, the public, to know what the vote was in his chambers early in the afternoon. But Mr. Lee, there have been several people from across the Bay, from Sacramento and other places who are here to extend their warm welcome. Standing next to you is Mayor Newsom's Chief of Protocol, my Chief of Protocol, Diane's Chief of Protocol, everybody's Chief of Protocol who's ever had a Chief of Protocol in San Francisco, Charlotte Schultz, and I hope she sticks around as your Chief of Protocol. One of your state senators, and we have two of those. Only one is present at the moment. The other one is up working on the budget. But Senator Leland Yee is here to welcome you. And then a man who went to bed on Saturday night, a cop with a badge, and who woke up on Sunday morning, a new DA, George Gaston. City attorney, twice elected in San Francisco, and usually without opposition, Dennis Herrera. Member of the Board of Education, and from your administration, Mr. Newsom, Hydra Mendoza. The assessor for the City and County of San Francisco, Phil Ting. The treasurer of the City and County of San Francisco, Jose Cisneros. The public defender and the man that first whispered to George, "You should be the DA," Jeff Hadachi. One of the judges with whom we have worked for years, Lillian Singh. And of course, Ed, the woman who was your lifeline from here to Hong Kong when you were trying to escape this awesome responsibility, Rose Pack. The Fire Chief of the City and County of San Francisco, Joanne Hayes White. And a man who's worked as an architect in 3 or 4 administrations, a man that I got from the Board of Supervisors years ago. He became Deputy Chief of Staff and then Chief of Staff under Mayor Newsom, Steve Carver, the Chief of Staff. And as always, you're in good hands of public safety, but only if there is a police chief, and there is one here, the acting police chief, Jeff Godon. The controller, a man who could cook the books or make it very difficult for you, Ben Rosenfeld. And from Oakland, California, an Asian person that beat you for mayors of the city by 5 minutes. By 5 minutes by my account. This is San Francisco. Gene Kwan, the mayor of Oakland, California. And the city attorney and one of my lawyers, John Russo. Oakland. From the Board of Education, Emily Moraz. And I could go on with the width and breadth, Mr. Mayor-to-be, of the people who are here celebrating with you on this very historic occasion. And it was all made possible by this fine collection of people to my right, whom I've introduced by name. And now let me ask the president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, a man who chaired the historic meeting where the vote count was done without the assistance of our folk who normally count votes, which is kind of the way I prefer to have votes counted in elections. You get better results. The president of the Board of Supervisors, David Chu.
Good afternoon. So Mayor Brown wanted me to tell you the score of what the game was upstairs. 2 numbers, 11-0. This is a historic moment for San Francisco. And I want to first start by thanking my colleagues at the Board of Supervisors. We may not, please clap for them. We may not always agree, but on this great man, Edwin Lee, we came together, and thank you for that. I also want to thank the many candidates that we considered. One of the things that we are blessed here in San Francisco was we had many individuals who we knew could step up to take this role. Thank you for all of you who we spoke to about this. This is also a historic day for the Asian American community. For a community that has been here in San Francisco for over 160 years. I am a product of that community. I know that Ed and all of us who are of Asian American descent feel the legacy. And I want to thank all of you who have been part of this historic moment to make this happen. And say that this is obviously not just about a Chinese American community or an Asian American community. This is about the American dream. The idea that anyone from any background, of any color, from any part of the globe can come here and someday be at the very top of what our community is about. In closing, I also want to just say that this is a historic moment because we have overseen the orderly transition of leadership. What we have done at the board here at City Hall is what separates a democratic society from less democratic ones, free communities from less free ones. We have overseen a truly orderly and wonderful transition of leadership from our Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom to our now interim mayor Edwin Lee. So without further ado, I will turn it back to our MC, and I just wish to say from the Board of Supervisors to our new mayor, Ed, we look forward to doing many wonderful things together and with the entire city of San Francisco. Thank you all for being part of this wonderful community.
I wish you'd gone back to Sacramento sooner than later, because he just reminded me that I forgot you, right? Eric Marr. And Newsom had to remind me. Thank you. The Board of Supervisors adopted a set of rules to determine how you feel a vacancy when it occurs during this time of the sitting mayor. And those rules require that the presiding judge of the Superior Court in this county administer the oath of office. We are fortunate to have the presence of the presiding judge, and she is Catherine Feinstein. Where are you? Would you please join us to do the duty of swearing Ed Lee in? Mr. Lee?
If you would be kind enough to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Edwin M. Lee,
I, Edwin M. Lee,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or
Without-
purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter,
And during such time
and during such time
as I hold the office of
as I hold the office of
Mayor for the City and County of San Francisco.
Mayor for the City and County of San Francisco. Thank you very much, Board of Supervisors, for this fantastic opportunity. I also want to make sure I thank the mayors that I've worked for that are standing with me. Mayor Brown, wonderful years working with you. I learned a lot, and I want to really thank you for the tutelage you've given me, for the guidance, the leadership you've given the city. Really appreciate that. To Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, you're bold, your ideas have inspired me to go beyond just the bureaucratic jobs that I've had. And your lessons about not being fearful and taking risks have all been absorbed. Thank you very much for your years. Charlotte, you're going to be with us, aren't you? Thank you very, very much for all your years of service. And we hope that you will continue and help us out. To the Board of Supervisors, each and every one of you, I am ready to carry out the duties of this office and to do it in a way in which you will be proud. And to specifically Supervisor David Chu and Sean Ellsburn, who really had a lot to do with the pivotal discussions we had about this office. Thank you very much for that strong and continued encouragement. I very much appreciate that. And to our communities, to all of you who have come today to witness this, I want to thank you, because it is really for your behalf that we are doing this. And I want to say to all of you, I make that pledge that I will do my very, very best to represent all of the communities that you live in, that we cherish, that make this city a great city. And to my good friend, Rose Pack, thank you. We have done it. I thank you for this enormous honor and the enormous responsibility to serve as your mayor. It's a responsibility I take with a great deal of humility, enthusiasm, and determination. Now, I must say, it's been a whirlwind for me. I left town just over a couple of weeks ago as your city administrator, a career civil servant, looking forward to a new year of promise and challenge in the job that I love. And now, just a few weeks later, I stand before you as your mayor. That's quite a journey. But in many ways, this wasn't a whirlwind. It was a journey decades in the making. I spent the past 21 years in and around these hallowed halls beneath this glorious dome, working to make this city a better place, working for people, working for justice, working to get things done. I believe that I stand before you today, not because I was the preferred choice of one side of the aisle or the other, not because I was a safe choice, but because I was the consensus choice, the trusted choice. I believe that if you're able to build trust, if your word is your bond, then it doesn't matter if you're down the hall or 17,000 miles away. People know where you're coming from. I was personally gratified by the show of support demonstrated by the Board of Supervisors moments ago, as well as that shown by your predecessor board last Friday. And let me take a moment to thank former supervisors Sophie Maxwell, Bevan Dufty, and Michaela Alioto-Peer for your support and your trust in me. I am grateful and inspired by that show of support. But more importantly, I was inspired by what it portends: a new era of trust, a shared sense of purpose and commitment to this city that we all love, a sense of unity. I may be your interim mayor, but I intend to utilize this year in office to tackle our problems with resolve and a seriousness of purpose. This is an unprecedented opportunity, and perhaps it is just what San Francisco needs at this time and in our moment of history. This is an opportunity to come together, to move the city forward, to roll up our sleeves and go to work on the significant challenges we all face for the benefit of all San Franciscans. I hope to move us past the labels that have pigeonholed us at City Hall, or at least to not be bound by them. Because if you're a so-called moderate, then I'm a moderate. I've spent the past 2 decades trying to make this city work, to work for all of us. For its entire history, people have flocked to San Francisco with their hopes and with their dreams. They've invested in the city, not only with their money, but with their sweat and with their blood. I understand that not only do people need to flourish here, but business needs to flourish here. I understand what is at stake, what is invested here in all senses of that word. It's our responsibility to see that this investment isn't squandered. But with all due respect to the young talent of many young leaders with whom I now share this responsibility, I was a progressive before progressive was a political faction in this town. Years ago, I fought the establishment to make the city that functioned better, to make our communities more inclusive. I fought for justice. When I left Bolt Hall and joined the Asian Law Caucus, I fought to integrate the San Francisco Fire Department. I fought to protect the rights of blacks and Latinos and gays and lesbians and other marginalized groups. I fought for tenants. I fought for senior citizens. I fought to empower the powerless. When I joined the city, I established the city's first whistleblower program. I made sure our domestic partners and minority and women-owned business ordinances were successful. I helped establish our recycling program, now the nation's most successful. I ensured equal access to government services for all our citizens, including our immigrants, documented and undocumented. In other words, I am my own person. Decades ago, I was about as anti-establishment as one could be. Today, like you, I am trying to make the establishment work for all San Franciscans. And yes, I am quite aware of the significance of being San Francisco's first Asian American mayor. As a Chinese American, I'm well aware of my community's long and troubled and proud history in this city. The San Francisco of old was directly involved in racism and neglect. The San Francisco that I fought as an attorney began to change. And now, today, Rose, our struggle is here and it's succeeding. I am humbled to stand before you today on the shoulders of giants among many flag bearers on the day we move that history forward. And I'm committed to move all San Francisco, all of us, forward. And that is why I've accepted this awesome responsibility. So I hope you will join me. I intend to reach out to you, my colleagues, to my fellow citizens across all political lines and all potential barriers. There are so many talented people in this building and in the city. I know we can move San Francisco forward together. And in the coming days, I will reach out to every member of the Board of Supervisors and meet with you personally to discuss my ideas and my agenda. And yes, President Xu, I will sit down with you shortly to work out the details of our question and answer session. I will seek your advice and counsel as we immediately begin to confront the challenges that lay ahead, starting with tackling our budget deficit and finding a new police chief. To the members of the board, I see you as my esteemed colleagues, and I look forward to a relationship based on mutual respect and trust. To our fellow citizens, I'm not going to change. I'm going to open up that room 200 for everybody daily and make sure that you know what that is. I present myself to you as a mayor for everyone. A mayor for the neighborhoods, for downtown, for business, for labor, for the powerless and the powerful, for the left, the right, and everyone in between. For everyone. I will be a mayor who tackles things head on and moves the bar forward. I will be your mayor. Thank you very much.
Mayor is inviting each and every one of you to join him and his family in the South Light Court for some libations and some enjoyment courtesy of McCall's. So please feel free to wander on over there with your cameras and get your photographs and do whatever you like. But thank you so much for coming.